There's a story that always stuck out to me in the Bible, and I remember it's somewhere in Luke because it was so severe. And as a Christian growing up, I just couldn't figure out what it meant. It goes like this: It's Jesus, his these followers, and he's like, "Look, if you want to follow me, if you want to be a disciple, you have to love me more than your family, more than your friends, more than your brothers, more than your sisters, more than the life that you have." More than life itself, it actually says. And you have to take up the cross and you have to follow me. And when I heard that verse, and when I would read that passage over and over in Sunday school, I would think to myself, shit, man, am I going to have to give up my Nintendo 64? Am I going to have to give away my gym membership? I wanted to be a bodybuilder, man. That's what I wanted to do. Am I going to have to give up all my video games? That's all I could think about is those two things, video games and the gym membership. And, you know, luckily for me, I'm not living in biblical, I'm not, if there, that period ever really existed, I'm not a disciple, don't have to make those decisions. But when I was a Christian, man, I was like, fuck, I got to make some decisions. So it's intense. And I think what that passage is saying is that you have to clearly define what you are willing to do and what you are not willing to do. Jesus laid it out for the disciples, man. He was like, look, if you want to seek me, if you want to come with me, and to be honest, following Jesus, not that bad of an option for these guys. Jesus is, in the Bible, the way, the truth, and the life. Okay, so you're guaranteed to find life, the grandest life, success in a sense. It's not that bad of a bargain, right? But man, you have to define, you have to really say, okay, I'm willing to leave behind my family, my little fucking dog, and the life that I'm living now, and go follow this guy. That's tough. So what does that mean for us in 2017? I think it's a clear way to understand that many of us think that we want a bigger house. We want a BMW. We want a super hot wife. We want like success. We're all sort of built on this idea, this foundation of being successful and being perfect, being a star, having star power. But no one's really defined and said what it takes. Have you even thought about, am I willing to actually do all this to be on a big screen one day? Am I willing to do all of this so that I can have a little bit of a bigger house or a little bit of a nicer car, a Lexus rather than my Toyota, an Acura rather than my Honda Civic? I don't know, and that's for you to decide. But you have to set the boundaries. You have to set the boundaries. So there's a lot of things that you're not willing to do. And that's completely okay. It's completely okay to define that too, because if you're not willing to work a couple extra hours to get the Lexus, then you just be happy with the Honda. Don't make yourself miserable. That's what a lot of people do in the new year. 2018 is about to roll around. The gyms are going to be packed. There's a bunch of people that are in there with the hope, with the promise of okay, new gym membership, time to get healthy, making some changes. I'm going to make some changes. That's in the future. That's not now. When you say I'm willing to suffer now, I'm willing to take the steps necessary to get the body that I want. It's like, okay, boom. Now you've just defined what you're willing to go through. Now you can take a step. It's like, no one knows, dude. These people don't know. I've been working out for 10 years. It's fucking hard. It's fucking hard. And so maybe it's just getting a better rap in your head of what you're actually up against. And so like a relationship in the beginning, you set those boundaries. And it sort of gives you this understanding of who calls the shots. That way, when you kind of understand who has more masculine traits, who's the more feminine, the sort of characteristics of each person, you form your routine. But in your own life, I think as we go into 2018, maybe we should all take a step back. And I tell you this, if you want to, I know about a couple things. I mean, I've worked out for a while now. And to be honest, I've never actually had a super nice set of abs. Like those kind of abs that you see in the Muscle magazine. And it's just because I was never willing to do ab training about four times a week. Now I am willing to keep my diet in check, but you know what? For the longest time, I wasn't willing to actually track my macros. And so now I've been tracking my macros, and I can keep on top of. If I want to lose weight, I lose weight like this. If I want to gain weight, like this. I was never willing to stick to a ketogenic diet, but you know, I started exploring with it. And now I understand what I have to go through, and if you want to be super shredded and low body fat, I mean, you might have to go to bed hungry. And so it's one thing to say, I'm willing to I want to be shredded, I want to, but are you actually willing to go to bed fucking hungry? Are you willing to invest a little bit of money? Are you willing to maybe be at a shittier, like living in a shittier place and not have as much lavish clothes and cars because, well, you quit your shitty job, but you were willing to, right? You're willing to suffer through that time period of not a lot of friends. You're sort of in that lone wolf state. You don't have that much money. Well, you made the choice. So I think that we all want to be successful, but we don't know what it takes. Like, we don't know that you actually have to be willing. And so it's okay though. When you can define what you're not willing to do, then you don't have to say, well, if you're not getting this and that, it's because you're not willing to suffer. You're not willing to, so keep the body you have, which is completely fine. Enjoy the foods that you did. Enjoy eating McDonald's and stuff, but you're not going to have, in most cases, you're not going to have a six-pack, or you're not going to get whatever it is that you want. You define that. So, like, the disciples had to be willing to give up everything. Family, friends, loved ones. They define that very, very clearly. As we go into 2018, define in your mind what you're willing and you're not willing to do. And you'll hit your goals.